car seat mistakes. Okay, so turning your child face forward too soon, and for those of you who haven't bought a car, never had to buy a car seat, that there's car seats that are designed specifically for infants, and car seats that are designed for infants, and then also toddlers, so you can use them for both. But I'm trying to remember the weight requirement.
They changed it. I heard it this morning.
They
That's
changed
what
it
I was going to ask
recently?
you, what the change, because they were thinking about changing it, and now they have to be facing back till the two. That's what they were saying, and I wanted to know if that's still the
Okay.
case.
So it's based on age rather than
I thought it was
or
weight.
height?
Well, this morning
I
it just
think it
came
has
up.
to be both, two
Both.
and two
Okay.
and X amount of pounds. They have to
Okay.
be, because they were saying it, but they didn't say it for sure. So now they have to be facing back until
Yeah.
the
Yes.
two.
And I know it says it on the car seat, so the thing is, as a parent, you need to be aware of when you need to actually change it. So when, if you're going to face them forward, you don't want to face them forward too soon, because again, we're seeing a lot of auto accidents and kids not surviving. Same with the booster. The boosters are setting them up a little bit higher, but it's different from the full car seats. But there's also a requirement as far as weight and height as to when you can, transfer them from the car seat to the booster. And so if we see, a parent that's moving them too quickly into a booster, and that's why they have those guidelines. Not putting them in correctly, there's directions with that. You need to make sure that they're in secured and properly. Using a locking clip, so not using it correctly would be a mistake. So it's not secure. Not securing your child in the seat. There's straps that come in between and over, making sure that they're secured. So you put the straps on, but the car seat is not strapped into the seat, so that's a problem. There's a strap that goes, through it's the car seat belt. And then just using a car seat that really is not safe, and some people, because they do get kind of pricey, I think they may be $70, might be the minimal now, on up, just a few $100s. So people sometimes maybe buy one at a yard sale or get some, but again, this is
It's been
one of the most
accident.
important things, so
Yeah.
making sure that it's in good working order, and especially that it has the locking clip.
Because
Now
they say
another
it's
one
been in an
that's not on
accident.
Yeah, what's that,
That's
Jim?
putting them in the front seat too soon
Um,
because of the airbags.
Yeah.
They need to be a certain size,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that one's scary. Yeah, because there's kids, they've just.
it seems to be, I've noticed, kind of a rite of passage in our family.
Mhm.
when you're allowed to get in the front
Mhm.
seat and ride with
Yeah.
mom or whatever.
Yeah, and that one I think I have on here. I want to say that it's 13, but it's on one of these. Yeah. So then just putting that together, making sure we're using them properly, that they're installed properly, that everyone has their seatbelt on. Anybody in the car. You don't hold the child in lap while traveling. My mom with our brood, with 8 kids, said, "Oh, I used to breastfeed you guys. We didn't have to use seatbelts. We didn't have to think, Jesus, we could have flew through the,
There's somebody that won't drive you, right?
yeah. Oh, you guys would be crying, and so oh my, that's a wonder we all survived.
Yeah.
Okay, so things were the thinking that.
There were
Yeah,
stronger cars back then too.
Yeah, I remember it was a pretty heavy car.
They were heavy cars.
Yeah,
heavy
station
cars.
wagon, but not belting 2 children together so you don't have the car seat, and then we just put them all together when I'm around the whole seat. And yes, as you just mentioned, Jan, oftentimes, woohoo, I can sit in the front. I'm thinking that they're old enough, and it's really recommended with the airbags and whatnot that you do not move them that they continue to stay in the back, not until about age 13.
I think too, people don't know, even if it's in the parking lot fender bender, you have to replace the car seat.
Yes.
A lot of parents don't know that. You have to replace the car seat. Even over 5 miles an hour, you have to replace the car
Wow,
seat.
I didn't know that.
Even if it's in the parking lot and it's you just were pulling out and you hit something, doesn't matter. You still have to replace the car
I didn't know that. So you get in an accident,
seat. Yeah.
and you have to replace the car seat?
Even if the child's not
Oh, I
in,
didn't know
even
that.
if the
Uh-huh.
child's not in the car seat, they said the jolt of the accident jolts the. Even if the child is not in the car seat, but you have
Oh.
the car seat
Yes.
in the car, you have to replace it.
We happened to us.
Oh,
It's happened to us too, and we've had to replace
Okay.
both car seats.
oh boy.
But because they break,
It jostles something in there. The movement of the hitting
So it's just,
jostles something in
so
there.
it's likely
and-
that they're damaged, so it's just
Damaged,
better.
Yes.
So that's a law?
Yes. Oh, yeah, and your insurance covers.
I didn't know
depending on
that.
the insurance, they'll cover
And
X
that's
amount.
why
They'll cover a little piece or the
I've
whole
never heard of
price.
that.
Yeah, and your insurance tells you
Jolted
when
just as
you
much.
call in
I
and
wonder if
ask.
my sister knows that, because she had
Oh, yeah,
backed
the same
out,
thing.
that
It's
was a
like-
few months ago. Her and another car backed out at the same, just tapped each other. I mean, it was just, you know, that
Well,
kind of
insurance,
thing.
we should tell her, right?
Yeah, and the insurance, when
Oh.
you do the report, will tell you,
Yeah.
do you have any car seats in the
Yeah.
car or whatever, and then
Yeah.
at that point they say
Yeah.
you need to replace your car seat. So the insurance for us,
Ah, okay.
the insurance
I'm
should be
gonna
able
ask
to
her
tell
that.
her.
What are you talking about? Over
I have
here.
to share something about car seats.
Yes.
I'm laughing because we're talking about all these restrictions and safety areas. When my older son, who will be 42 in August, was little, I was criticized so highly because I restrained him in the car. When he was an infant, he had a car seat, and it was like a cloth seat that went over, there were two metal, like a U shape that went over the front seat. And even that, he wasn't even strapped into it. And people thought that I was out of my mind. How could I put my child in a car seat? And then when he was older, I got it at Sears. It was like a harness, like the harnesses there are now. But I had a Volkswagen van then, and I had to have a bolt that went over a bench seat so that
Harness with-
it was a harness that he could be standing up or sitting down with this harness. He couldn't go forward, but it was approved by the Underwriters Lab and Consumer Report, and it was considered like the best, the safest thing there was in those days. There was no such thing as a car seat for an older child, and I cannot tell you the criticism that I took for that. It was like being stoned. I mean, you're restraining your child in the car, you're restricting his movement. Yes, I am. But I also fed him yogurt, which the neighbors thought I was poisoning. And we baked our own bread. And
Wow.
heaven forbid, we used whole wheat flour. I fed my child whole wheat homemade bread and yogurt, and I was putting in the harness in the car.
You were
And
way
I
ahead of your
almost got
time.
run out of town. I
We were
was,
the parents that we would consider the,
Oh,
alternative.
I was right out there on the fringes. I was lucky they didn't throw me out of Sonoma County.
Little
I
did they
was
know you were the model parent.
That
that
weird,
they-
crazy mom.
Wow.
Oh, that's only the
A
beginning.
non-conformist.
But it's so interesting to see. I mean, it's come so far,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so good. I mean,
I bet you use cloth diapers too.
I did. The first plastic ones, the first paper diapers were like this. They were
Paper,
horrible.
really.
They were paper, and they were awful. And
They
I
were
thought,
so awful to mess with and soak and, yeah, I know.
yeah, they were really bad. And he was allergic to them, or I might have used them.
Yeah, Kelly was too.
Yeah. If I could have that, I definitely would have done. But
Cloth are still available, aren't they?
Yeah.
yeah,
But certain, like NAYC, part of their accreditation process is that they request, like, I mean, you can choose not to pass some items and they'll still accredit you, but if this is like the borderline item, and let's say you can't do 10 and this is number 10, then you have to decide whether to get accredited or not. We were trying to go through accreditation, and they say for a center, if you're trying to look at being accredited and you want to be a higher standard, that for children who are cloth diaper, that they need to bring a note from the pediatrician saying that they are requesting that the child be cloth diaper because it's not sanitary, it can leak through the cloth, and you're keeping, a bag with cloth, and all this poop in there. So that's one of the things that National Accreditation for the Education of Young Children says.
they
Again,
wanted paper.
They want,
Yeah.
they said that it's
I
unsanitary
can kind of
to be
see
using
that
cloth
in that
diapers.
setting,
Yep, they say it's completely unsanitary, that they do not want, unless you have a dark, and so where I worked at, that was one of the things we opted not to, that we didn't feel we could impose that on the parents, and we just got dinged for that. But yeah, that's one of the things that it's not sanitary.
Happens
But when you
today.
think about it, I mean, you're wrapping this thing up and saving it all day until the parent picks up a bag full of.
Yeah, and I think in that setting, it's
You
more of
know?
an argument for it, but yeah. But it's also, it's just so costly for diapers. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if those people who do the cloth and you do the service, that's costly too. If you
Yeah.
opt not to
Yeah.
wash it yourself and
Yeah.
you have the.
Yes. How much are diapers?
Have a service.
They do. They have a service that comes
Anybody
to your
bought
house
diapers lately?
and picks up. Yeah, I buy diapers all the time.
How much are they?
Depending on which box and brand, they can go
Yes.
anywhere from $20 to $50-something dollars.
And you go through
For how
them.
many?
Do you
Yeah.
buy them?
You go through them.
If you buy like the cruisers
How
or
many
whatever,
do you-
they're like 40 and they're $40 and there's like 120 something in there, and I can go through that in under 2 weeks.
Are
If
they
that.
biodegradable?
Wait, you go through 140 in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or do they just
Yeah,
go
I've changed them every
away?
2-3 hours. So in under 2
140
weeks.
I don't
under
think
2
they
weeks.
are.
So I go through maybe
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
to 12
A
a
day.
day. Yeah, I use all kinds. Yeah.
And that makes up most of the landfills.
Are you serious? A
Diapers.
day?
I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you go through them.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's
I
arguments
love
on
Lovely.
both
She's
ends
going
of
through the
those.
whole. You just have to change them. You can't keep them.
Like,
She was so sweet. She's like, you know, you
Save.
feed them constantly, so you have to change them constantly. And the younger they are, I mean, it's when they're
Oh, yeah.
newborn, it's every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
put in a new one, they're like, yay, new diaper, and you have to change it again.
Way to stay
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
children. Good job.
Yeah, I remember it was a huge daily. Okay, so other safety things here. You're in a parking lot crossing a street. We want to be mindful that is, potentially a child could run out. We've seen children do that, so making sure that they know to hold your hand. They also know to look both ways. All of that stuff from early training. Playground equipment. You want to make sure that it's sound equipment, that it's not, playground equipment on top of a hard surface. Again, they could fall from and get a serious injury, so making sure that it's not concrete or asphalt or grass, that there's more of an approved, type of surface on there, which I've seen rubber, I've seen even like little pieces of wood, soft
Yeah.
wood chips or,
Wood chips.
yeah, fiber. I don't know about the fiber. I'm trying to think of ones that I've seen, but anyway, just making sure if you see something definitely that looks like a hard surface that they're going to fall off, and that the playground equipment looks relatively in good condition. There's no screws that are sticking out or look loose, and they have S hooks on them, making sure they're closed because those could slip out. Okay, so the bridge that they're on won't be there. Okay. And this is more getting into medicine here. Yeah.
So could I say something about playground equipment?
Sure.
Here we have metal slides and plastic in Mattel Park,
Mm-hmm.
especially like for JVO when we have events here. Make sure that they're not too hot.
Yes.
Because I've been out there in the
Mhm.
summer and they get really, really
Mhm.
hot, way too hot for kids to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And all playground equipment at the park if you
Yes.
take kids. But here especially,
Mhm.
these.
Do we have a metal slide?
I-
So what's
I
the
don't
rolling
know.
one?
Yeah. That is
We do. Okay. Oh yeah.
The roller. And the other one, even the plastic absorbs
Gets
a
hot,
lot
yeah.
of heat.
Yeah.
Occasionally we've had kids come here for services. Fila, remember that little boy you had who came here? And I had a little girl who was brought here specifically to use Mattel Park. And if it's in the summer, sometimes it's really not usable because the equipment is too hot.
Too hot.
And the spinner thing, that pole that Stevie Wonder loves, that's a metal pole too.
Mm-hmm.
Good to
So
know.
it's
Yeah.
a consideration.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. We don't want anybody to hurt themselves, but
Yeah.
adults use it too. But
Yeah.
and playgrounds, when you go to the park, it's a big
Yeah.
factor.
I know I've never been too keen on just
And
a lot of the
even
metal
chains
playgrounds.
on the swings get hot,
Mm-hmm.
and even the plastic stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised, but it does.
That's a good point, Judith. Definitely.